Good afternoon.
What's up?
What is up, guys?
How you doing?
Welcome back.
Hi, I'm Adam. That's Nico. That's Nick over there.
I don't like that.
I always forget that we never introduce
And
ourselves.
we should continue not introducing
Why
ourselves.
not?
Makes me very uncomfortable when
How
you
do
say
people
things
know
like
who
that.
we are?
They don't. That's the mystery.
Ooh, okay.
You know, on the Fantasy Book of the Month podcast, that was something that very quickly became apparent to me by the rest of the crew being like, are we not going to introduce ourselves? And I was like, oh, I guess we should.
I mean, it's such terrible form. It really is.
Not
to
it's
introduce
really- yeah.
ourselves, yeah.
We just
So
never
now
do
what
it,
I do
though.
is, so now my strategy is just every month I let one of them host the show.
Oh, right.
We've done it enough times now that, like, you know, we've done 5 episodes now.
If people don't know who you are.
How do people find that podcast, by the way, Nick?
Ooh.
Oh, you go to toomanythoughtsmedia.com and you look for Fantasy Book of the Month podcast right there.
Yeah. So subscribe on everything, right? You can go to Spotify, Stitcher,
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere. It's
iTunes.
everywhere.
It's all over the place.
It's in your grandma's backyard.
If you want it to be.
We're there.
Yeah, if you dig it up, you can find it there.
with some of the work Katie goes into, I'm sure. Oh my God, she internet stalks all of us all the time. She'll like text, she'll like message us, and she'll be like, "So how's that thing going?" And we'll be like, "I never told you about that." Like,
Who is this?
one of the girls on the podcast. She's just she'll just
Oh.
ask us questions. She'll be like, "So what town do you live in again?" And then she's like writing notes.
What time do you have dinner? What time do you go to sleep? Those kind of questions?
Yeah, she's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah, that podcast is a very entertaining one. You can find that everywhere. But yes, I'm Nico. That's Nick. That's Adam. Yeah, you know what I don't like? There's something I want people to like be in the mystery with us.
Yeah.
Like you got to do the work to figure out what our names are.
Okay.
It's like familiarity. Like you should be referring to us as Mr. Hall, Mr. Evangelista, and Mr. Di Gregorio until you figure out exactly. You know what I mean? There's a familiarity to it.
But they don't even know which one is Mr. Hall and which one is Mr. Di Gregorio.
Yeah, but we should be anonymous voices until you do enough work where we can go on a first name basis.
I mean, after
Yeah,
one...
I kind of don't like that thing on the internet where everybody's, you know, I'm your best friend. Hi.
Right.
You know?
No, 'cause
Like,
we-
I don't know you.
No, we don't like our audience at all. We hate pretty much all...
No, that's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. I love the audience. My point is,
We used to say fuck the audience all the
Yes, we
time.
did.
That's true. We did, but that was more of a joke. No,
Yeah.
I love them as much as is appropriate for
Right.
the relationship we have.
If you love them too much, it becomes an issue. I
It
think.
becomes
It's
an HR
weird.
violation
Yes,
is what it becomes.
right.
Yeah.
At the end of every sentence, we got to say, now remember, guys, we love you. We love you.
Not in a sexual way.
No, in a sexual way. Definitely in a
And you know what?
sexual
Here's
way.
the thing. I think the audience feels the same way because every time we ask them to reach out, they don't. But they're still listening.
Excellent point.
Right. Well, that's the weird thing about podcasts is that people can just listen and never talk to you. You have no idea that someone's out there listening.
We're very inviting.
I'm open to the relationship beginning.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, guys,
You
talk
know.
to us. We're lonely. We want to hear your voice.
I'll go out for drinks.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I can't promise a second date, but I can promise the first one.
Nico, you're a champion when it comes to the dating game. I just got to say that first and
You mean
foremost.
like the dating game on the Game Show Network, or like watching it?
Yeah, I was really good at figuring out who Bachelor number 2 was. You know, that's I'm really good at playing along with the dating game.
I'm still proud of myself. Don't laugh at me.
I mean, you're very good at being a bachelor. And by that I mean watching The Bachelor.
Swing that for Survivor. Go.
Yeah.
You're very good at surviving.
Yeah.
See, every time you say Survivor, I think Designated Survivor.
How
Because I
is
love
season
that
3
show.
going?
Are you still watching Designated Survivor?
Dude, season 3 just came. Well, I shouldn't say just came out. It came out a few months ago, but I finally decided to sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude. So, you know, season 1 is like bonkers,
Okay, figures.
right? Season 2 is kind of stupid.
You
But-
don't say.
But season 3 is literally him running for re-election now.
Yeah.
Or I should say running for election because he was never elected.
Right.
Against a former U.S. president.
What? Can
Wow.
they do that?
Yeah.
Of course.
Ooh,
Of course you can do that.
Has that
So
ever happened?
he's running against a former U.S. president and his former vice president, who's running for the Democratic spot. He's running as an independent.
Well, Grover Cleveland was a non-consecutive president. Grover Cleveland, right? Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he became president for 4 years, and then someone else became president, and then he got elected again.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's happened before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Grover Cleveland.
Cool.
One of my old teachers used to be like great-great-great-great-great-grandsons with Grover Cleveland.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Great grandsons with.
Something like that. I don't know what the relationship was.
Father, brothers, cousins, nephews, former roommate.
Like when you said that, you made it sound like he was friends with, but also was the great really confusing stuff there.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not awake enough for this shit right now.
Should we hop in? It's our spooktacular.
Oh, yeah.
Spooktacular.
You guys are whores.
You know, it's not quite the same as Zach just getting like loudly, unnecessarily angry.
It will never be as good, though.
One of my favorite things, it was like heroin for me, is when like Zach would take off his headphones and storm out. That was my favorite. Because he did that that was his move.
Oh, that was the best.
He would throw the headphones on the desk and leave.
Yep.
That was the shit.
Damn.
I miss Zach. Zach's got to call in. Where the fuck has Zach been?
Have we reached out to him recently?
I talked to him maybe 3-4 weeks ago, something like that.
Okay.
I talked to
talked to him
Jackie
last
like
week.
2 days ago.
Yeah. Jackie's still very much in touch. I think Abby every once in a while hits her up as well. So
Yeah, I talked to Jackie. Zach has just dropped off the face of the planet. I'm not really
too
sure
bad.
he's still alive. But
all right.
yeah.
I spoke to him last week. He's fine.
Is he? Oh, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing the spooktacular, but we're really, well, not only are we stretching the definition of horror film, we're kind of stretching the definition of why is this a thing with this movie, I gotta say.
I disagree.
Okay.
Interesting.
I completely
Why do you
disagree
say-
with you.
Why do you
What
say
mean?
that?
Yeah.
Well, this was like a very popular movie, and I understand.
This was?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
All right, let me look this up.
I'm pretty sure it was not that popular.
All right, let me do my research here in terms of the box office. But
I don't know. I don't think popular is necessarily the.
Even if, I agree though. Even if this movie is a little bit more popular, I think it fits squarely into our definition of why is this a thing.
okay, well, it lost money. That's fair.
There you go.
Cost $50 million, only grossed $41 million domestically.
Ooh, that's bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Bad for a sequel to a not just like a rehash of, no, a literal actual sequel to the original, which was wildly popular, correct?
Yep. Oh yeah, quite
Yes.
beloved too.
I mean, so
We're talking Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2 is the movie. we
Gremlins
should
2.
say.
I
Yes.
have not seen Gremlins.
you
either.
haven't seen Gremlins?
No.
Oh my
God!
God.
I want to put that out there before we get too deep into this.
Are you
right.
kidding me? What? Come on, man.
Well, you should have known this
How have you not seen Gremlins?
because I don't
Who
watch
hasn't seen
Gremlins.
Gremlins? I don't know. Stop it, Nick. Who hasn't seen Gremlins?
Oh, I knew you would do this. I knew he would
I
do
just
this,
wanted to
Nick.
put that out there first.
Nick, I knew
so
he
we
would
don't-
do this. I knew he would do this.
What the hell? I mean,
Why would you think I would have watched Gremlins? Like, there's a lot of things that I haven't
I don't
seen.
know
Why would you think Gremlins would be?
I don't know a single
Why do you
person who
think-
hasn't seen Gremlins.
Well, now you do. You know what?
Yeah,
Why do you think it's more likely that I would have seen Gremlins and not The Godfather 2? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand your surprise.
I saw Gremlins before I saw any of the Godfather films, though.
I just can't understand your surprise. It's a little. You shouldn't be surprised at this point.
I think no. I'm staying surprised. I'm allowed to be surprised. God damn it!
Well, okay. It's like one of the 3 most iconic movies of the 80s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I wasn't alive in the 80s. All right, can we stop with this bullshit? I wasn't alive.
Well, I always loop it in with Back to the Future and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, those Steven Spielberg produced films. The Goonies is in there too.
Goonies is in there.
The one thing important to acknowledge there is that the only one of those that I actually like watched as a kid was Ghostbusters. Back to the Future, I kind of forced myself to watch as I got a little older.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not like Back to the Future?
No, it's fine. It's good. It's really fun. They get a little worse as the sequels go, but you know.
I agree with one of those.
Yeah, no, you probably like 2, right?
No,
I don't really.
He loves
Or
3.
I love 3. I
3.
I love 2 in my own way, but in my opinion, it's by far the weakest.
I love 2
Growing
in
up, I
everyone's
watched
way.
the movies my dad watched. That
Sure.
was it. And all my dad watched was like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and basically all the new movies that came out in theaters.
And
so
he-
I went to the movie theater every week with my dad, but I didn't watch like old movies.
Can't believe your dad never showed you Jaws. Shame on your dad. I'm sorry.
Shame on
Mr. Evangelista. You had a rough childhood there, Nick.
Yeah, my dad's more likely to
real Arthur Fleck
have me watch. He's more likely to have me watch like Spider-Man.
Okay.
With Tobey Maguire than he was having me watch Jaws.
And that's where
it came out.
That's where the troubled relationship with your dad starts right there. Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
You didn't like it, and it all went downhill.
Why would you do this to me, Dad?
I loved it as a kid, actually.
Really?
It's only as I got older that I realized it was bad.
What changed, man? Jesus.
I have a take on Gremlins. Can I get this
Which
off my
one?
chest? The original.
Yeah, one or two.
Okay.
Well, I guess this applies to both, but the original. Cute, cuddly creatures do nothing for me. Nothing for me.
Okay.
I fucking hated the Ewoks. I fucking hate the Porgs. I don't like the Smurfs.
How about Furbies?
Fuck the Alvin and the Chipmunks. Hate that shit. So I acknowledge one of the reasons why people love the original Gremlins so much, and I think this might be the only reason, is because Gizmo is fucking adorable. That's why. Gizmo gets way too much credit in this world, man. People love it. They love taking that plush toy home.
Is Gizmo as useless in the first movie as he was in this one?
Yes.
Kinda, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so he really is just the root of all the problems.
Yes.
Yes. Literally the root of all the problems in the movie.
Okay.
Yes.
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 So this movie followed the exact same formula. Good.
No.
What do you mean?
Absolutely not.
Gizmo's only purpose was to create more bad creatures for them
then
to
he
fight
became
off.
Rambo. What happened when it became
true.
Rambo?
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll get
They
there.
pushed him too far. They drew first blood.
I'm saying as far as Gizmo's purpose, it's only to create more creatures and create all the problems. And then he doesn't solve anything.
Yes, correct. But
So
he's
it's
cute.
the same formula in that sense.
Yes. He's cute and cuddly.
Great.
I
Cool.
have just never in my life been under the trance of cute, cuddly creatures in movies. So
Okay.
I was never fooled by Gremlins. I don't like Gremlins.
Really?
I don't like it. I acknowledge it as like a campy 80s movie that's fun for its time, and it's certainly it's nostalgic and it's a part of our culture for good or for worse. But yeah, this just never worked on me. I was a Back to the Future guy all the way.
Oh, were you like in the camp where you had to defend Back to the Future? You felt like you had to represent that party?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, no, seriously, it's E.T. and it's Back to the Future for me. Like, E.T. is not like a cute character. We should acknowledge that.
The Gremlins are not cute characters either,
Well,
though.
the Gremlins aren't, but Gizmo is. And I'm just saying, Gizmo's the reason why people love Gremlins. That's why half the childhood population likes Gremlins.
Sure. It's not why I like Gremlins.
I know it's not why you like Gremlins, but that's why most people like Gremlins. So that's why it never worked on me. I like my creatures to be a little more gross. I like them to be lovable, but I like them to be gross.
Okay, but the creatures in Gremlins are quite gross, though.
But they're not lovable, though. They're not E.T.
What? Well, they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, you don't want them as pets.
They're villains, but they're so damn entertaining, especially in this one.
I also think they're kind of fucking annoying. I'm sorry.
Come on.
I think they're a little annoying.
You didn't get a kick out of the microwave scene? I love that shit.
I don't like puppets. Hot take, people. Nico's anti-puppet.
You like the fucking Muppets.
The Muppets aren't puppets. They're real.
So where do we draw the line between
I hate you. No, I fucking hate this kid.
No, where do we draw the line between a puppet and like a space model? Like when they were making, giant like Star Wars spaceships and they had to like create little models and stuff. Where do you draw the line?
Not a bad question, by the way.
No, I just like puppets if they're Kermit. That's all. That's my take.
Okay.
Because Kermit's like a real guy.
You're a weirdo.
Kermit sings songs in the swamp.
I have issues
Kermit
with you.
is like the Jerry Seinfeld of puppets. You know what I mean? He's just so vanilla.
How dare you hurl two insults at me at once? How the fuck did you do that? How did you just simultaneously destroy two things that I love at the exact same time?
Kermit is the Jerry Seinfeld of puppets.
How do you do that? That was the most efficient insult I've ever heard in my life.
I love it.
Fucking love Kermit.
I'm totally on Team Nick for this one.
Do you not like the Muppets?
I love the Muppets.
All right.
Don't get me wrong, but puppets in movies are so much fun, dude.
I just don't like if they're cute. Like, I think like they can be effective. Like if it's the thing from the beginning of Empire Strikes Back.
Isn't the point of Gremlins to have that contrast?
Well, so this actually brings me to a major question that
go
I
ahead.
have, which this happens a lot on this podcast with movies we watch, right? There tends to be this huge dichotomy between the movie they were making and the audience they thought they were making the movie for.
Oh,
and
you think?
So with at least the second one here, I'm assuming it's the same for the first. It's kind of hard to really grasp who the hell this movie's for.
Okay,
because it's definitely not child appropriate.
I disagree,
but it's you think it's child appropriate?
Yeah.
I don't think it is at all.
I don't think it's child appropriate.
No.
And I also don't really think it's something that adults would want to watch.
Well, Nick,
generally speaking.
Here's an interesting fact about the original Gremlins, is that alongside Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Gremlins was the fundamental forerunner film to give us PG-13. It's the film that people saw and they're like, we need a new rating because it's not quite for adults, but it's also definitely not for kids either. So we need to make a change now or so help us.
Well, it's for kids that want to sneak into the movies without their parents.
I say this a lot. It's what you call a gateway horror film.
Yeah.
And it's similar to Krampus when we reviewed Krampus. It's very much that tone.
And I think we actually had this conversation during Krampus, and part of the conversation we had is that those movies tend to kind of get forgotten in a way. Maybe you could. Some might argue. I think Adam would argue. I probably wouldn't, but I think Adam might argue that those movies don't get the credit they deserve because they're in this sort of in between stage.
Maybe I would
because they get
that.
tossed aside by kids and adults alike, sort of.
I don't think that's the case for Gremlins, but maybe if I had actually saw Piranha, I might have thought that.
Yeah.
I might have thought that, this movie is maybe not the greatest thing ever, but maybe it deserves, a little more credit for what it is. I certainly thought that way about Critters. That's a good one. I kind of thought that
Critters
way.
is a good one.
Yeah. Where it's like,
I just can't help thinking I don't know who this movie is really for, though.
This movie?
Even with the PG-13 rating,
But you know
so to
what,
speak.
though? Isn't every movie like that now? Like, every major film that comes out is PG-13 now, right? Yeah. Like, there's superhero movies. They're about guys in capes, and they're a little violent, and they occasionally say the word shit. But they don't drop any F-bombs. It's like somewhere in that in-between stage. And I just think that's because young men are naturally drawn to the movie theater. And when you're of a certain age, 8, 9, 10, 11, you don't want to be talked down to with Pixar movies. So it's like once you get to that certain stage, that demographic, and it's like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they want to go to the movies by themselves and they want to see something a little more adult, but they don't want to be totally disturbed. They're still interested in the same things that little boys are interested in. So I think that's why Gremlins to me made total sense. This is a movie about, it's somewhat horrifying, but it still involves things that little boys are interested in, which are fuzzy, cute, but also horrific creatures.
But to me, the fuzzy, cute creatures is what makes it weirder and a little more uncomfortable, because when you see these horrifying monsters come out of Gizmo, it's all the more disturbing to me.
Are they that horrifying, though?
I think. Well,
I'm thinking about the shot, though, where, like, his boss, under the table uses her foot to rub his dick. I'm just trying to really grasp how that's okay for a 13-year-old or
the
younger.
Kid wouldn't get it.
You see, but that's not good enough for me. I'm
No, but
sorry.
it is. The kid wouldn't get it.
No, that's not.
So they go home and they ask their mom. Right?
That's not. It's not like there. It's not like SpongeBob where it's like little inside jokes where you hear it and it's like, as an adult, you're like, oh, that's what they were saying.
No, that was pretty overt.
Yeah, you think so? Oh no, in Gremlins too, it's
dick
overt.
rubbing?
Yes,
I don't.
Yes,
Yeah, a little
of course
overt.
it is.
They focus the camera that way and everything. They could have. They either could have not used it because it wasn't really necessary. Or they could have done it differently. They could have just...
If a girl goes home and tries this with her dad, it's a problem.
Right.
Why would you say something like that?
Because I'm me.
So what do you feel about the original Gremlins, though, in that respect, Adam?
Okay, you want me to get my basic thoughts on both movies?
Yeah, sure.
Right now?
Hit me, yeah.
So I very nostalgic film for me that I love quite a bit. I understand it ain't like a masterpiece or anything like that, but
Sure.
it's another one of those DIY films that I just watch. I'm like, oh, I love the magic in
Is
this
it
film.
really DIY? It's a Spielberg movie,
It's
though.
so much. Well, it's
Spielberg put his stamp on that movie. I mean,
it's Joe Dante though.
it's
It's a Joe Dante
It's
film.
true. Director Piranha.
Yes.
Joe Dante.
It's a shit ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's just like the gags that the movie comes up with. And, the story is serviceable. The characters are serviceable. That's not exactly what I'm there for. It's similar in that vein to The Goonies, where it's just like, I just love the weird, wacky adventure that they're on.
Yeah.
Gremlins 2, on the other hand, is about a guy who didn't want to make a sequel to Gremlins, and I love it so much more than that first movie.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite sequels.
Wow.
I'm glad you're bringing that up.
I think it's I watched this movie and I'm just like, who in their right mind greenlit this thing? It makes no sense. It's out of its goddamn mind. It is completely irreverent both to itself and the other Gremlins movie and poking fun at that other one.
Well, that's true.
And it's just nuts. And I love everything about this film. It's could be one of my favorite movies.
Wow.
It took me a little while to realize how self-aware this movie was.
I love this thing.
Yeah. I see where you're going with that, and I actually I told you I have some feelings about this movie, and I had a really good time. I liked it.
Thank you.
I enjoyed myself.
Thank you. What about you, Nico?
Some really good laughs in here.
Oh my god,
honestly.
This movie is hilarious.
I will say, well, I don't know if I'd go as far. See, I don't think I feel quite as strongly as you. I wouldn't say it's hilarious. I would say there's about 40 minutes of bullshit.
Okay.
Buried in there.
The opening.
Just
you mean?
No. Not like 40 minutes. Just like.
Oh,
I would say half the movie was not funny at all and stupid. And then the other half was like really fucking funny. And I don't know. It's just like every other gag made me laugh and yet every other gag made me roll my eyes.
Oh my god. And there are entire scenes that are just like gag after gag after gag where they first go to the lab. And Christopher Lee's in there. And
so this is
Why
by far.
is Christopher Lee in this?
Hold on. This is by far the best name for any genetic testing lab I've ever heard in my life. Splice of Life, designer jeans. How is that not the funniest thing you've ever heard?
I didn't pick up on that.
That's brilliant.
This movie is full of shit like that.
That is great.
You would love it.
Splice of Life, designer jeans. So funny.
If you go back and rewatch this film, you pick up on God only knows how many little inside jokes.
And then he gets an order in the mail and he goes, maybe this is my malaria.
That was
no,
good,
it's
yeah.
just rabies. I have rabies. I'm supposed to get the flu this week.
I love it when she's sneezing into the tissue. He's like, give me that. Give me your tissue. Give me your sickness.
I love the idea that they're like, we're not just like genetically testing animals. No, we're just breeding diseases. That's what we're doing here. We're literally just...
We're injecting rats with an electric charge.
Oh my god.
To power the planet.
Funny.
Have you guys seen the Key and Peele sketch about the making of this movie?
No.
There is a...
That is so niche. What?
They
did a sketch.
That's content?
Key and Peele, they clearly love this movie, but they did a writer's room sketch, okay? And basically they're like, okay, Gremlins is a classic movie and everyone loves it, so we got to make the sequel awesome. And then this guy comes in and he's just like, I'm the sequel doctor, do your thing. And then they start going and he's like, okay, what if we do this thing where everyone around the writer's table gets to design their own gremlin? And that's basically how he says the movie gets made.
Right.
He was like, this gremlin, electric gremlin, googly eye gremlin, vegetable gremlin.
Right.
And then the guy's like, that'll never be in the movie. And then there's a little insert card that says, everything that you just heard was in the movie. All this crazy shit.
Yeah.
Electric gremlin.
Right. They did throw everything up against the wall. And look, I respect the movie for that. The movie is somewhat out of its mind. And it's visually creative and
Yes.
they're having a lot of fun. And I don't begrudge movies that have a lot of fun. These things just don't work on me.
Clearly.
It just doesn't work. Whatever the spell is that everybody falls under when they see Gremlins, it just doesn't work on me. This happens when I saw Return of the Jedi for the first time. I'm just like, fuck the Ewoks.
Okay.
It just never worked. I mean, it's funny. The Christopher Lee stuff's good. And yeah, I mean, it's certainly more out of its mind than the original Gremlins.
Oh my God,
I don't
yeah.
think that necessarily makes it better, but it, yeah,
Well, I think
let me put it this way.
part-
I would rather have the one where they're going balls to the wall than when they're showing restraint.
I think that's what I like more about it.
Yeah,
though.
I don't need to see a dark and gritty
Yes.
Gremlins, you know?
I think the thing that Adam was just starting to really just touch upon, though, was the fact that this... I didn't know that the director didn't want to make this movie, but it makes a lot of sense.
Talk
because
about that.
From what I understand, he was, I think, forced into it. Like I don't know the entire behind the scenes story. I just know that Joe Dante, I think, was a little just uninterested in general. I don't think he enjoyed working with puppets at all. But at the same time, he's like, well, they're gonna make me do this, and it's it's best to just kill it now and go out swinging.
Right.
And that's essentially what he does. He just drops a bomb on the studio that just
yeah, I mean, multiple times in this movie they talk about movies and TV being like bad, right? You catch that?
Yes. Oh, the entire thing of the movie is essentially picking apart why the first Gremlins doesn't make any sense.
Right.
The fact that they're like the characters are physically aware of that, and I love the comments where it's like, oh, like what were they saying about feeding the Gizmo after midnight or something? Like it's midnight at some point on the Earth, right? So it's like if you feed him any time, you're fucked.
If he's in a plane and he crosses the time zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And then the company Clamp Industry or whatever it is.
You know what I love that invention so much, Nick, is because it's so unique. There's like nobody else on the planet like that character. You know what I mean? And it was just like such a creative invention that they invented this guy Clamp out of thin air.
Wait, what?
What?
He's a Trump figure. I'm just trying to say that. He's a Trump figure. It's lazy satire. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I know
Sure.
that.
No,
It's
but
a Trump figure.
that's not even where I was going with it.
Oh, okay.
I was saying the Clamp is actually in some ways like referring to like Warner Brothers as well.
Donald Trump.
No, and it's
Donald Trump. There's a book that mimics the cover of Art of the Deal in this movie.
I'm talking
I'm
about
aware of that.
I'm talking about the industry. They had like Acme products inside the building that all the Gremlins were using.
It reminds me of like NBC. A lot of
exactly. Like it was basically like the big studio because it wasn't just a real estate place. They also had like studios with TV shows and stuff.
Right.
The movie's surprisingly ahead of its time in that way, though. Because before then, you don't get like buildings that have a show on every single floor or whatever. And this movie literally predicts that. It actually predicts like a smart home with its smart building.
but I feel like he's almost shitting on the actual like producers of this movie while he's making it through this company.
Right.
I think the closest comparison for a movie that we've ever done on this podcast with this is actually Freddy Got Fingered.
What did you just say?
Well, the guy does not want to make the movie and almost tries to make the movie as a fuck you to the studio.
Yeah.
And this is what you get, except there's just better craftsmanship on hand with this than there is in Freddy Got Fingered.
Did Tom Green not want to make that movie?
No way he wanted. No.
Who's Tom Green to say, I don't want to make a movie? I mean, I don't know what
Tom Green, I don't believe, wanted to make that movie at all. I think
then why did he write it?
I think he was forced into it.
Why? He's not that famous.
Because they gave him a lot. The scene where he's like, I just spent $1 million and I spent it on a piece of shit home. That's it. There's all my money gone. That's literally a line in the movie. He did not want to make that movie.
Tom Green. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I feel that. I do understand what you're saying. The whole thing is sort of an allegory for consumerism and for corporate greed. And as we said, Clamp is very explicitly Trump. Yes. And this tower is Trump Tower. And man, so funny is you look back at like Trump caricatures in what was this movie, 1992?
I think so, yeah.
Somehow the guy is even more cartoonish in real life than he was in 1992 satire.
Yeah.
People had no idea.
That's actually an excellent point. You're right. It totally is.
It's so funny going back in time because like this character is like actually like a fairly good guy in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he's greedy, no doubt. And he's like a billionaire and he likes attention and everything, but he still does a heroic thing at the end and he still tries doing good. And it's like, oh yeah, Trump is somehow even crazier in real life than he was in this cartoon. In Gremlins 2, the Trump stand-in in Gremlins 2 is less crazy than the president of the United States.
That character in Gremlins 2 is now the president of the United States of America.
They could make a Gremlins 3.
Right.
And
Clamp
just
is
like
president.
have that. Yeah.
They're not going to do a third one, but they're gonna remake this movie eventually, or well, Gremlins 1 anyway. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
That's another thing though. It is like sort of a product of its time. If they were to remake it, would they? The 80s were sort of obviously very iconic, right?
Yeah.
And if they were to remake this movie today, would they replace Hulk Hogan with I don't know.
Hulkamania, brother.
Like, who would they
Hulk
replace? Would they replace him with Justin Bieber? I mean, like, what are the modern references? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Here's what they do. They make it LeBron James and they tie it in with Looney Tunes and Space Jam because Gremlins 2 is just another Looney Tunes venture.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Well, that was the thing at the beginning of the movie. Daffy and Bugs were hanging out. There was like a little short at the beginning by Chuck Jones. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it is Chuck Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, you're right. It's right. It's squarely in the Looney Tunes lineage. Yeah, they're definitely going to do something like that. Oh, it's only a matter of time. And LeBron's going to produce it. And it's going to be The Rock's going to be in it. I bet you it's going to happen.
What the hell is LeBron up to still? Is he still trying to get movies made?
Well, right now he's trying to win NBA championships. Okay. But yes, on his days off, yeah. He's trying to get Nightmare on Elm Street remade or whatever.
Friday the 13th?
Okay, whatever it is.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's producing Friday the 13th.
Why?
I don't know, man.
I don't really know what LeBron's movie taste is.
Here's a weird thing about like athletes, right?
Yeah, sure.
We only think of them as athletes. We give them a ton of money, but they're, generally speaking, their career can only last so long because, you age. It's like being a model or anything that involves your physical body.
Right.
Your lifespan is short. After all of these people are done and they have all this money, they just do the weirdest shit with it.
Right.
Like Shaq.
Well, Shaq is spending his money 100% correct.
No,
well, he's making more money.
He's being very smart with what he's been doing.
But it's still weird as hell.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's spending his money and he's doing well with it, but at the same time, like, he could just invest in stocks and we never hear from him again. No, he has to do it the weirdest way possible.
Is there anybody who's like broken that where it's like we think of them as something else after the fact?
Magic Johnson.
Okay, maybe.
Magic Johnson.
What do we think of him as?
Well, he's
a man with AIDS?
How dare you? No, I mean, he's an entrepreneur. I mean, Michael Jordan is certainly more of an entrepreneur now than he is an athlete.
Okay, yeah, that's
Michael
fair.
Jordan is a brilliant business person.
Yes.
I mean, like those guys. There's not many. Or you just suck at your sport, and so you become like a commentator, and then you become great.
Who would that be?
Scalabrini.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Yeah. I love my boy Scalabrini.
I know.
I saw him on TV the other day. I'm not kidding you. I forget what he was doing. I don't know. Probably nothing good. Anyway, Gremlins.
I was hoping you were just going to say something mundane, like he was grocery shopping or something.
So yeah, just hanging out. So the Hulk Hogan thing, that was, I think, my favorite part of the movie. That was like the most like interesting, transgressive, like form breaking shit.
It's so ridiculously meta,
but I love it.
It like breaks my head.
Yeah, I want the movie to be so. The Gremlins have been unleashed on this tower. It's like basically the plot of the movie is it's Die Hard with some fuzzy creatures.
Essentially,
they're stuck on in a tower, and like the Gremlins are wreaking havoc, and they don't leave the building. And at one point, Christopher Lee runs into the main character's name, who I'm forgetting.
Billy.
Yeah. And all of a sudden the film reel cuts out. You get the massive exposure, and you cut to a movie theater. The Gremlins have now left the movie, and they have invaded the movie theater where the movie is showing, and they have taken over the projector, and I think like projected a porno on the screen or something. What was that?
I don't think it was a porno. It might have been like gremlin porn.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
It was like something.
Ew.
No, it was like scantily clad women playing volleyball.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, wasn't it?
So they were just trying to see how much they can get away with. How close can we get to actual porn?
Right. No nudity, but it was I think at least like a soft core.
What if they went whole hog with it and just had nude women playing volleyball?
I'm in. Sure.
Then it's a good movie.
Milk that PG-13. As long as you can. That was great. So they're in the theater and they're like, the Gremlins have taken over the projector, and then before you know it, Hulk Hogan stands up and is like, "You think you can mess with the Hulkster?" With his great handlebar mustache.
I love how he takes his bag of popcorn and literally crumples it in his hand,
right,
and popcorn goes everywhere.
That's how strong Hulkamania was back in the day.
Yeah.
I couldn't crush a bag of popcorn in my hand.
Shit.
It's very tough.
By the way, that aged pretty poorly, huh? Anything with Hulk Hogan just ages poorly.
He's still around. No, he's still around. He's not canceled.
You think so?
I don't think he's canceled. They caught him in a fucking sex tape, dude. They caught him using a word in a sex tape.
No, that's not the thing. It's with his son. That's really the bad thing.
What happened with his son?
His son killed someone in a car crash.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
And then he was it was his son killed someone in a car crash, I think, and Hulk Hogan over the phone with his son, like in the jail, basically told him like we're gonna cover this up or something. Like,
oh, was that
really
right?
Bad.
Oh, that's
some
too bad.
really really bad shit.
Oh, that's messed
and he
up.
got very blatantly caught.
I just saw Hulk Hogan on a sports talk show the other day.
maybe it was
This was
about
years
that.
ago.
Okay.
I'm sure most people are over it by now.
He was promoting
but-
because I guess Fox is doing a new WWE thing.
Oh, really? Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to say this really quick. Fact check the details of what I just said. 'Cause I gave you what I remember happening, but I'm sure there are many, many more details and bits that I'm forgetting.
I hope what you just said gets back to his HR department, and then they call us.
Well, in that case, that is exactly what happened.
Are you sure you didn't find this out from a Ukrainian whistleblower? Are you sure that wasn't?
I can't
intel?
It's not
guarantee I didn't.
It's not the first time. What is it with celebrities hitting people with their cars and no one giving a shit? That happens constantly. I know that sounds a lot like terrible and everything, but like, you know, Caitlyn Jenner did it, Matthew Broderick did it, and I guess
JFK.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Bobby Kennedy.
Oh,
You're thinking of drove
right.
off the
That
cliff.
one he got shot in his car.
And then there's
right.
oh yeah, that happened. I forgot about that. No one remembers that.
I get mixed up with all the
Not very important.
all the Kennedys and their deaths and
The Kennedy
murders.
drama is just
It's Robert Kennedy, right? Chappawick.
What did he do? Did he hit somebody?
Did he have a hooker? And
Am I talking about? No, that's Rob. Hold on. No, maybe
listen, it doesn't really matter.
no. It was another Kennedy. It wasn't Robert Kennedy. Okay. Robert F. Kennedy was the one that was shot, right? Ted Kennedy. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Ted Kennedy was the guy. He was drunk driving with some broad, and they fell off a bridge. Like they drove off the bridge, and he got out of the car okay, and the girl died. And
But
like
he didn't
report
supposedly
it.
he didn't try to save her.
Right.
And he didn't report it.
Right.
And he just went home.
It's because it was a girl that he did not want to be seen with.
I believe it was a prostitute. Yeah.
There you go.
And so the next day he's like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna report it." Yeah, that's Ted Kennedy. I don't believe Robert Kennedy ever killed anybody with a car.
Okay.
Or John F. Kennedy.
Well,
I could be wrong about that though.
John F. Kennedy was killed in a car.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
By the CIA.
it's very easy to get mixed up.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It all blends together. Like I said, not very important. Anyway.
Back to Gremlins. I also love the little meta moment where like the Roger Ebert figure
Oh,
is
yeah.
reviewing the original Gremlins.
That is so. Well, that's Leonard Maltin.
Oh right.
That's
okay.
Yeah. I love it. It's like no, it's a 10, it's a 10, and they're like stabbing
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
That is I love that scene.
Yeah, that shit's very funny.
It's a very self-aware movie. I mean,
But the thing is, there's lots of scenes like that Leonard Maltin scene. They could have cut it, and it only lasts like 10 seconds, and it's in the movie for no reason other than just for the sake of the gag.
Right.
Like the movie is just strings of scenes like that, and occasionally you get the thread with Billy Peltzer trying to stop these monsters, and that's it.
Right.
I wrote down some of my favorite Gremlin gags when they took over.
Okay.
So I mean, they break into the genetics shop, and they're just basically. So one of them takes some sort of brain enhancing chemical and becomes smart, and he becomes like the mastermind of all the Gremlins.
Yes.
Right. He can speak perfect English. He has glasses. He has like a charming accent.
Yes.
I'm not really sure what the
And
accent was, but I was into
I was
it.
gonna say British, then I realized it's definitely not British. He has some sort of accent.
I arrived on New Zealand.
Kinda, yeah.
I think it might have been. Yeah, I don't know. Because I was thinking about the same thing. It's because it's not British. It's definitely not British.
Right.
Yeah, it might be New Zealand. That's actually not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. Sounds like the guy from Tickled. Yeah.
'Cause I'm thinking of how he says civilized.
Right.
I think that's like Australian or New Zealand.
You can do that
But,
voice way too well.
Sorry.
At that point, they're basically just like giving all of these different chemicals to the different Gremlins. Like they gave him like a something so they can survive in the sun, and they gave him bat wings, and he flew through the wall, and it was just the Batman symbol. That gave me a pretty good laugh.
That whole
Them.
Well, I was
What?
going to say the whole sequence with the flying gremlin, creating the bat logo, and then attacking that guy in movies who was shot in the Terminator. I don't know his name. He just died recently.
Oh, right. The friend of the father there.
Yeah,
from the town, from the first movie, yeah.
He's my favorite, like, that guy in movies. I don't know his name, but he's in everything.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. That guy's in a lot of stuff.
Well, and then, he pours cement on that.
And then it freezes into a gargoyle on top of a building.
So that was
it's great.
It's stupid, but it's funny. And so they're basically just taking all these chemicals to change into all these different types of gremlins, like we said. So then you have like a million different variations of gremlin. But then they're also in like the stocks room, I guess. I don't know, and they're just like yelling on the phones, "Buy, buy, buy, sell, sell, sell." That made me laugh. And then the smart one is on one of the phones, and he's like, "We're telling all of our clients to put everything you've got into canned food and shotguns." Like, that's hilarious. They're playing with a vial of acid that's labeled "acid, do not throw in face."
And then they throw it in their faces.
Right. That's hilarious.
But I
don't know, man.
I love when they
they do exactly what the directions say not to do.
But I love
such mischievous creatures.
It's more the label on the jar in the first place makes me laugh. Like, why would you label something "do not throw in face"?
I'm sorry to be such a Debbie Downer here, but I just don't fucking get the Gremlins.
They're hilarious.
I'm sorry, I just don't get them. I find them irritating.
I do have to say, my favorite gag happened before the Gremlins really got there, though.
Oh, yeah?
What was that?
It was the entire microwaving with Marge
cooking
show. It was just fucking funny. I wrote down some of the recipes she was working on.
You wrote down the recipes?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
Bologna, not bologna. Bologna bean dip roll-ups.
Bologna.
As she pronounced it. Tuna noodle cheese product surprise. And she goes, "Before microwaves, this used to take forever." And then she just pours whiskey into everything she makes.
It's literally
That's hilarious.
It's literally just Julia Childs. You know, being her drunk self and trying to make stuff.
But I also love, like, this, like, greedy corporation making a cooking show out of microwaving food. They're like, "Oh, before microwaves, this was so hard."
See, this movie commits to that, though. It's
so funny.
It just does not give a shit. And I don't know. I really respect that. That's the entire movie. It's too much fun. Like you said, and there's a million other gags like that.
I'll tell you my favorite line. I wrote it down.
What's up?
It was the guy in the intercom throughout the movie, because this is like a mega mall, this building, essentially.
Yes.
There's like a movie theater, there's TV studios, all the shit. And I love the line where the guy makes an announcement. "Tonight we're showing the re-release of Casablanca, this time in full color and with a happier ending." Love it.
That's good.
Loved it.
This movie's fucking...
That one got a belly laugh out of me. That one got an audible belly laugh.
And that's another part where they're talking about Mr. Clamp, and they're like, "He only likes his movies in full color. I don't get the guy." You know, it's this weird dig at Time Warner. Weren't they... I could be completely misremembering this, but weren't they like some of the first ones to push for like Technicolor?
Probably.
Forever ago?
Maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there are just these little subtle digs at the studio while he was making this movie.
I mean, the movie, just its existence is a dig at the studio. So I do love that the entire movie commits to just giving the studio the finger the entire time. That's it.
And I think there's another meta element here.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it was obvious enough that the studio knew he was doing this and didn't give a shit. And that adds a whole nother layer. It sort of reinforces his point.
They would have to, though. Like, especially when they bring on the puppet of the female gremlin, where it's like, "Joe, what the fuck are you doing? What is this?"
I mean,
that was a little uncomfortable.
No,
Yeah.
a gremlin sexually assaults a man in this movie. This happens.
Yes.
She sexually assaults him. He eventually gives in, but at first it was not so consensual.
That's the fact that the movie ends with that, with the sexual assault being like, "All right, I'll just let it happen."
Yeah, a little weird.
This movie's crazy. It's out of its
weird.
mind.
You know what else I thought was a little weird is how the beautiful Phoebe Cates, who's back from her role in the first one, Fast Times at Ridgemont High will always be a part of my life. For someone saying,
Mine too.
Yeah. Phoebe Cates. You ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Nick?
No,
I don't
think so.
You ever seen Phoebe Cates topless in Fast Nights at Ridgemont High?
You should. Every man.
Oh
should.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, but no, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Which one was she?
She gets out of
She's the
pool.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's the girlfriend.
I love how you quoted Gremlins 2. I quoted Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I said she gets out of the pool. Oh.
Okay, so she's the girlfriend, not the boss.
Yes.
Okay. I love how she's like, the guy comes home with lipstick on his face, and she's like, "How's your meeting?" And then she goes later, "You're gonna be in big trouble, mister." There was just such casual adultery going on. Even though it actually wasn't adultery, she suspected adultery and was kind of okay with it.
It was dropped.
Well, no, I think I respected the fact that she was able to really acknowledge what was the bigger issue at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had her priorities straight.
Yeah, she did. She's like, I'm going to have to deal with him in a second, but right now there's currently a thing literally destroying my kitchen.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a very realistic movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she
So
also
she's-
didn't jump to conclusions either, which is
And
pretty noble.
the biggest thing that I get out of this is that her lines were written by a man,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
So
Written by a man who doesn't understand women,
therefore,
for sure.
So therefore, they're the most valid opinions. You know.
Right.
No,
That's
that's
how
not what I'm saying.
That's
I'm
not
not
what you're
offering.
That's not
I'm
what you're saying,
No.
Oh.
I'm not giving a value judgment. I'm just stating how I think this was a common issue where, women didn't act like women in movies a lot of times because they were written by men.
Yeah, they
know?
acted smarter than they actually were.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. It just doesn't seem realistic, right? You guys didn't buy it. You were like, what's going on here?
of course not. I don't think any woman in America would respond that way if her boyfriend came home with lipstick on his face.
It's a comedy. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, I agree. It doesn't really matter.
It's like, she'll forgive me. Just blowing her off to go out with some broad.
I did find that weird. It's like, why didn't you just bring her along too?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway. What else did you like about the movie specifically in terms of scenes here?
In terms of other scenes,
Yeah.
I love the scene where the gremlin gets shredded in the paper shredder.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
I love what it's doing though when it's like when it takes a woman and puts a mouse trap in her sandwich, and she.
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. What a stupid gag. Of all the things you could do.
But then it gets on the computer and it's just like typing like there's these.
Well, it's doing the alphabet. It's like
yes, A B C D E. Yeah,
it's just slamming the keyboard.
exactly. Yeah,
It's so funny. What a brilliant gag. But that's another thing. Like, of all the things you could do, you take the top off her sandwich, stick a whole mousetrap in there, and put the top back on.
it's not like
That's
glass
so
or something.
funny.
Yeah, I know. It's like of all things, you picked a mousetrap.
I'm starting to buy into this as Joe Dante just saying to the studio, fuck off.
That's what it
I
is.
think, you know what? That's a pretty good argument. That's the most succinct argument you could make for this movie.
Yes, and I love it as that.
Yeah.
No, it is definitely I caught on to that. I mean, it took me about halfway through to really catch on, but then I was thinking back to some of the things that I thought were strange, like at the very beginning, the what was up with the Chinese man? Is that from the first movie?
Yes.
They gave the gremlin to him?
Yes.
Okay. So, but, Gizmo's watching Rambo on the TV, and he comes over and he goes, TV made for fools, and he shuts it off. Like, that statement alone, to me, I was like, it's kind of weird seeing a movie talk about how movies are stupid, because
Right.
most of the time when I watch movies, you can see, like, the director talking about, like, how, like, oh, movies are the greatest thing that ever happened. Like, they always, like, slip something in like that.
Sure.
And this was the opposite.
No.
So it stood out to me, and it all started to come together.
Yeah. In a world where a vegetable gremlin is a thing. I mean, this movie, the fact that it commits to that, it knows what it is completely. I mean, very overtly. And the fact that, and I've been saying this a lot throughout this podcast, but again, I just really love how this film goes for it in, like, almost every scene, especially in the latter half of the film. And the fact that it gets to the point where Gizmo literally becomes Rambo and blows up a spider gremlin.
How fucking awesome is that? I'm sorry. Gizmo does nothing this entire movie, but then all of a sudden he just grabs like a freaking paper clip and a rubber band and a pencil, and he just makes a freaking bow and arrow. He's so cool.
It's awesome. I love it.
I'll admit that was the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you, Nick.
Rambo Gizmo is the best thing that ever happened.
It's amazing.
It's the third best Rambo movie, in my opinion.
I think Rambo Gizmo needs to be in the next Super Smash game.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, okay. You should pitch that idea to Nintendo.
Yeah.
See what they say. That's a great idea.
I need to see Gizmo and Rambo Last Blood. I think that could have enhanced that movie quite a bit.
Can I ask a question too?
What?
Does Rambo have like some special usage rights? Because
okay, so I actually read this. Yes,
it does. Okay, because there's so many movies that like frequently use Rambo in the movie.
Right.
Okay.
Stallone gave them permission. Yeah, I read this.
Okay.
Yeah, they needed Stallone's permission, and he gave it to him.
Well, because there's like Kid Rambo. You remember that movie that came out
Son
a few
of
years
Rambo.
ago?
Son of Rambo.
Or Son of Rambo or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's even just like in the 80s all the time, like Rambo's on the TV.
Yes.
It's just so iconic in that way. But I'm in my head, I'm like, there's no way all the studios can just use Rambo.
Right.
You think it's like in the public domain to use Rambo?
I guess Stallone must have said
It's
it was
like
cool.
Goldilocks and Three Bears. It's just you could use it for whatever you want.
It's upsetting because that first Rambo movie is not that way at all. You would not want to cite Rambo as anything. I love the first Rambo movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. First Blood's a good movie.
Yeah.
No, they haven't been good since. No, I bet you a lot of it though.
Fourth one's good.
Okay. I disagree, but
You're wrong.
okay, it's fine. It's just the same I don't know if is it Warner Brothers that's behind the Rambo series. I don't know.
I actually don't know.
I'm sure a lot of it is just the studio that happened to have the rights to Rambo had the rights to these other movies.
Maybe.
But
That's a lot of
it
references.
seems disproportionate.
right. Yeah, it is a frequently referenced movie. You're right. Even if you haven't seen it, you know Rambo.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's parodied all the time too, in like Ultra High Frequency or in Hot Shots or something.
Right. Hot Shots.
It's so funny.
Also, I did not know Howie Mandel was the voice of Gizmo until the credits rolled.
Oh.
And that blew me away.
Well, I think
the end.
that's a great moment to transition, unless you have anything else to say about Gremlins 2.
I figured you'd want to transition off that.
I love Gremlins too. It's awesome. It's awesome, and not enough people have seen it.
Yeah.
I'll give it like a 8.
Yeah, that's a fine. Yeah, I might give it an 8 too.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 is good. There we go. We're scoring movies now.
I'd maybe give it half of that. Okay, there we go.
You bitch.
How many Drew Careys?
Howie?
We're talking Gizmo.
How much
Wait,
is
Howie or
Gizmo?
Gizmo?
No, Gizmo. How much is Gizmo worth?
Howie Mandel is the subject of today's How Many Drew Careys?
Yes.
Fellow comic Howie Mandel. Fellow game show host Howie Mandel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's the thing. This guy's got to be worth a ton.
You think?
Yeah.
Gotta be.
So he had, what was that cartoon he had back in the day?
What? He had a cartoon?
Yeah, he was the voice of some Howie Mandel. What's that show? Bobby's World. Bobby's World? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm just thinking, I mean, if he was the host on a show that was willing to give away $1 million every week, any of those shows, because that was not like, there's tons of game shows out there. There are so many game shows that saying like, oh, I was a game show host doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Okay.
But this guy was on Deal or No Deal.
Yes.
This was a pretty big show. And then he's on
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. Yeah.
See, that's the thing for me that I'm skeptical because, like, why would you still be having to do America's Got Talent?
You don't think they make a lot of money on America's Got Talent?
I think it pays the bills. I think it pays the bills. I mean, he's been on that show for like 15 years, dude. He's been on that forever.
I think I have my number though. I'm going to be pretty generous.
And I think he still does Deal or No Deal. I think Deal or No Deal's still on.
Yeah, he does.
But I'm sure he gets a check from Bobby's World. I'm sure he gets a check from St. Elsewhere because he was on that show for all those years. That was a really popular show back in the day.
He still works though.
Sure.
Constantly. I mean, these, as we know from Drew Carey, these game shows.
I mean, that's a great point. I mean, I think this may be the closest person to Drew Carey that we've ever done on this game, right?
Yes.
So this is a pretty close comp.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty confident. Yeah.
All right, what's your guess?
I think it takes 2 Howie Mandels to get to Drew Carey, so he would be worth $82.5 million.
Wow.
Yep. I think that's a decent number. I think he's half of what Drew Carey would be anyway. In essence.
Okay.
Nick, what do you say?
I say he is. How do I? He is 2/3 Drew Carey, 110 million.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Damn. All right.
2/3 Drew Carey. Okay.
2/3 Drew Carey.
I'm gonna say he's worth $40 million. And that'll be about 4 Howie Mandels to get to 1 Drew.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So pretty good range here.
Damn. All right. This is weird.
And now
I'm scared.
the moment.
No, I mean, I could really see this going any way at the end of the day.
He's worth $1 million. Well, that's not.
No way.
That's not impressive.
I mean, that barely covers his hand sanitizer costs for the year.
Ugh. He's worth the cost of Burt Reynolds at his death.
You know, I saw Howie Mandel do live stand-up.
Did you?
How was he?
A while back. He's good. He was good.
Okay.
He had a really funny segment at the beginning. Basically, there was this this guy on like the monitor who basically kept being like, "Are you ready for Howie Mandel?" And they just kept dragging it on for like 20 minutes, where the audience was just sitting there, just like fucking waiting.
Was he in the back washing his hands for 20 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. It was really fun. I don't remember it super well because I think I was a little younger, but I just remember they basically kept the audience waiting for like well over 20 minutes to the point that it was like people were getting upset. People were actually getting mad. And it was really funny. Like they would play the music and then they would stop it and then it would be silent for like 5 minutes and then they would come back and play the music again and be like, "Are you ready?" And then like nothing.
He was doing full Andy Kaufman, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Just trying to stretch that moment and piss the audience
Remember
off.
when he used to put the rubber glove on his head?
What?
That used to be his bit back in when
And
he
then
had hair.
did he blow it up?
Yeah, he would like put the rubber. It was the stupidest fucking bit. He put the rubber glove over his nose, and then he would start huffing through his nose until the rubber glove got so big that it exploded on his head.
Ugh.
And he started getting like ear problems because of it. Like it was like really
Obviously.
causing him distress. But that was like, yeah, he's a clown.
That's weird.
I don't think Howie Mandel's a particularly good comedian. I just want to say that right now.
Nah.
But I think he's a pretty damn good game show host.
I do too.
All right, I think he has found his calling finally in life.
Yes. And does it show with his money?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what he is.
Okay.
The actual net worth of Howie Mandel is actually $40 million. I hit it on the head!
Damn.
Really?
I just
Wow.
won this week's edition of... How many? Drew Careys.
Congratulations.
I don't like that he won. I don't like this. This is upsetting. Nico never
40
wins.
million. I'm very impressed.
No.
I never win.
Congrats.
Nico never wins.
Never
I think
mind.
if you hit the nail on the head, I think you deserve a pat on the back,
All right.
at least, you know.
Cheers to you, or whatever.
Thank you, Adam, for making us watch this movie.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. We're not done.
It
by
was
the way.
actually it was good. Well, are we doing Troll 2 next week?
We're doing. What are we trying to do? Troll 2 and Blair Witch 2,
I think we ought to do Blair Witch
yeah.
2 next
Blair
week.
Witch 2? Let's do Blair Witch 2.
which I have not seen.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I haven't seen the first one either.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Apparently you don't need to see the first one though.
Okay.
Well, I assume it's a different plot.
You need to. I do know the premise. You need to understand the reaction to the first movie. Do you understand how much of like a cultural event that first movie was?
Nope.
Oh. Do your research, damn it.
All right, read the Wikipedia article
Yes.
then. All right, and then watch Blair Witch 2.
Maybe I'll try to make time to watch Blair Witch 1, read about it, and then watch 2.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see how motivated I am.
All right. So yeah, we are again in the midst of the Spooktacular. We have 3 more of these to go between now and October 30th. That'll be the final show, and then Halloween's October 31st.
Yeah.
So maybe we should get Zach on for at least one of these so he can participate in the Spooktacular,
I would like that.
even if it's over the phone for like 20 minutes or whatever. I'll call him this week. I'll see what's
What
up.
am I participating in? The Spooktacular. And then he just hangs up.
I will be in studio for one episode this month.
Nice. Cool. When are you coming
So,
back?
I'll be back the weekend of the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th.
Oh, cool. All right.
And guess what?
What?
I'm not there for that
Oh,
one.
you're not there. Okay.
Of course.
What do you mean you're not there?
I'm not there. That's the one weekend that I have prior engagements. Yeah.
We're doing Spooktacular, you fuck.
I'm
What are you
not
talking
there.
about?
I'm not there.
You
I
can't-
have-
what are we going to watch without you?
You guys don't need me.
We'll find a way to reach into the deep
Let's do
crevice.
Troll 2 without Adam.
Let's do it.
He's been asking to do Troll 2 for years.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do it without him.
Somehow we'll find a way to unlock the dark, deep the bowels of humanity without Adam Hall. It's going to be difficult, but somehow we're going to reach into the disturbing side of ourselves for that.
Am I holding you back, guys? Is that what this is?
No, not at all.
No. Oh,
You've offered us quite a helpful lens, actually, into your world. I appreciate it.
thank you.
We did a review of The Joker, Adam and I, just actually before we recorded
Yes,
this.
we did.
And that's available
really?
on the site. Yep, tmt.media. Too many thoughts.
Definitely check that out.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got to go watch that film pretty soon.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I've heard it's people are leaving theaters. Just too much for them, I
What?
guess.
Is that right?
I haven't
I've
heard
read
that.
articles. People are leaving the theater. They're just getting up and leaving
Oh,
if it's too much.
on.
People got to settle down.
Jesus Christ.
not that
So it's
bad.
not. No, okay.
No, but
I'm glad.
everyone, was square in their seats for Midsummer for some reason.
Here's why. I think just people are really dumb.
Yes.
And they see Joker and they think it's a comic book movie, and it's like, no, it's not. It's not a kid-friendly comic book movie.
No, it's not.
And I think that's, people have been saying this for weeks. Warning: do not bring your kids to this. Do not. It's not that kind of movie.
No, certainly not.
But I'm sure people still did not heed the warning.
No.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I it's one of those situations where it's like maybe it can't be that bad, and it's like no, it ain't for your kids even remotely.
Right.
Please don't bring them to
Yeah,
this
there's
thing.
nothing for them in this movie at all.
No, but like even if they're too young to understand what's going on, they would just put them to sleep, I think.
Yeah, they just wouldn't enjoy it, I
Yeah.
think, just generally. Yeah. But you should see it. It's one of those movies that I think everybody needs to see so they could at least talk about it, you know?
I'm sure you guys chatted a lot about Taxi Driver.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah. Is it a just a little teaser for your show? Is it like an apt comparison?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. It is Taxi Driver with a clown.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good. Have you seen Taxi Driver?
Don't ask stupid questions.
I'm sorry, Nick. I apologize.
Listen, I had 2 film classes in college where they asked me to watch Taxi Driver, and I didn't watch it then.
Oh my God, are you kidding
All right?
me?
If I didn't watch it then, sure as hell I'm not going to watch it
That'd be a
soon.
fascinating double bill. If you saw Taxi Driver before going to the theater to see Joker, it would be it'd be quite the afternoon.
That's what I did.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah. Be quite
would I have sweet dreams that night?
Oh yeah.
I actually watched Taxi Driver in prep for Joker, and it just reaffirmed how much I love that movie.
It did make me want to watch Taxi Driver again.
Oh
that
God.
movie.
And
But we're weird
I also
that way.
believe on Malik's show Get Blurted this week he's also talking Joker, so you can check that out too.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's on the site or we'll figure it out.
I hope he's just like horribly offended by the film, and it's just a stark contrast from what we were talking
Well,
about.
No, I
like-
think he loved it.
Okay, I'd like to get someone that's horribly offended by it.
Yeah, me too.
On the pod. I mean, so by the way, last week, guest of the show Joe DeFeo was on Cultured because we talked about Chappelle a lot on Why Is This a Thing? So I'm like, all right, let's hash out this debate. And we talked a lot about Chappelle, and we have varying opinions on it. He disagreed with us very strongly on our reactions to Chappelle. So maybe I'll do something if he feels the same way about Joker. I don't know if he does.
Okay.
But the two of us tend to differ on a lot of, I would say, social issues.
All right.
So that might be fun. We'll see. I'll talk to him about that. But that's it. We'll be doing probably a Breaking Bad podcast at some point this week too.
Right.
El Camino is coming out. So I don't know what we're going to do for it, what show it's going to appear under, who's going to be on, but I think Nick, me, you, and maybe Jabril for that.
If we can get all of us, that would be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah. But El Camino
I
is
think
coming.
it's cultured, man. I think it's cultured.
Cultured?
Okay.
Okay.
I think so.
That's fine with me. All right. We'll do that at some point. And that's it. Love you guys.
Yeah, we're done.
So very, very much. And until next time. You've all been so very, very, very naughty.
Naughty.